What's good, Eagles fans? This is your guy, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports Philly, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. As you guys already know, I greatly appreciate you guys for locking in on the content as always, but I want to talk to you guys about something. Trent Dilfer, former NFL quarterback, Super Bowl champion, one-time Pro Bowler. He won that Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens, but spent most of his time in Tampa Bay and in Seattle. But nonetheless, my man had, I want to say, a 14-year career in the NFL, and he was on the herd with Colin Cowherd, and he had nothing but great things to say about Jalen Hurts when it comes to how he's carried himself, his development, and just the simple fact that quarterbacks are built different. And there's not one way to play the quarterback position. But I want you guys to hear this clip because it really brings to light not just Trent Dilfer's praise, but it also brings to light how mainstream media sees this Philadelphia Eagles team, most notably this Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. But the devil's in the details, and I don't want you guys to miss it. So I want you guys to lock in on this and tell me what you guys think.
Dwayne and I have been saying this is and I have to move off some of this stuff where I'm used to 6'3.5", 215, and then Jalen Hurts, who doesn't throw a pretty deep ball, but I'm like, I said this about 7 weeks ago. I'm like, yeah, but they score 30 points every time I watch them. Like, people are obviously struggling to figure out them on third down, and there's something Jalen's doing, and it's not a great O-line. They have to rebuild it. What am I to make of Jalen Hurts? Is the ceiling lower? Is it a new thing that nobody quite can figure out? What do you make of it?
Well, first, let's start here. I think so many people, and I'm not blaming you. I mean, everybody makes a mistake, whether your life is quarterbacks or whether you talk about it on TV, whether you coach it. You see somebody at one point, and then you kind of judge them from there. And you forget that these uber talented players, when are coached well, can get better for years. Jalen Hurts has gotten a lot better in the last 18 months.
Yeah.
I mean, he is way more consistent throwing the football. He said he was going to go to work on some things, and he did. And he's a much better passer. Now, he's still not an elite passer, but he's elite with a lot of other things.
Right.
Their ability to run the ball because of him being a threat in the run game and all the read stuff they do, the quarterback doesn't have to carry it a ton of times to be very dangerous. And they steal a gap in the run game so often. Well, now all of a sudden the defenses start coming down and being more aggressive, whatever term you want to use, load the box. But now there's these big opportunities in the play action game. The one thing Jalen Hurts has always done really well is throwing the football down the field. So I like what you said when we were coming on here. You can no longer say a quarterback needs to look, play a certain way. There's all different types of flavors of quarterback. It's like ice cream. We all love ice cream. I like mint chip. You might like Rocky Road. The bottom line is ice cream is awesome. Quarterbacks right now are awesome. They just look different and play different and fit different into different systems, and you have to appreciate what they bring your football team within the system that you plugged it into.
That was Trent Dilfer on the herd with Colin Cowherd and Joy Taylor. And, Trent Dilfer said a lot of interesting things. The fact that Jalen Hurts made it a point to get better as a passer of the football. He committed to his own development. He committed to himself. Jalen Hurts is a much better thrower than people give him credit for. Not necessarily elite just yet, but he's elite in several other areas, such as being an X factor in the running game and moving the chains, most specifically on third down. We've lived off of that, and just the explosive plays. But also the fact that Jalen Hurts, he's not your cookie cutter quarterback, and it's about time these professionals, these mainstream media, begin to shift away from the stereotypical, prototypical quarterback archetype. Right? There's mobile quarterbacks, there's your dual threat quarterbacks, there are quarterbacks who thrive at executing the check downs and nickel and diming you in. There's quarterbacks who are big throwers, guys who throw on the run, playmakers, guys who are left-handed and who are able to sidearm it, and guys who are just automatically electric in the running game and take advantage of the play action. Guys that are 6'3", 6'2", guys that are 6'5", 6'6", ranging between 210 to 230, 225 pounds, and there's a disparity between the stereotypical, prototypical quarterback. And it's about time we start to shift away from that and start acknowledging what guys do bring to the table and how can we build around that? How can we multiply that, tenfold and try to get the most out of that skill set? That's the mindset we need to start transitioning to with these quarterbacks. A lot of people say Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball downfield. He doesn't have a big arm, so on and so forth. My response to that is, what does that even mean today? What does that mean? No quarterback on any team can get by without a running game. So Jalen Hurts shouldn't be ostracized or penalized for being able to execute the running game at a very high level. Now, he has to improve as a passer, but he's trending in that direction. We saw in his past Washington football team game that he was moving the ball very well in the air. He had some big throws. He knew how to take a check down, and let his skill position guys work for him. But I want to key in on something that Colin Cowherd said that maybe snuck under your nose, but he said something that didn't really sit right with me. And I'll be honest with you guys, I actually like the Herd. I like Colin Cowherd. I don't know. Maybe it's his voice. I like the Herd. That's just my personal, preference. I do like the Herd. I don't listen to too much mainstream media, but I do like the Herd. But Colin Cowherd has not really been favorable of the Philadelphia Eagles ever since we moved on from Carson Wentz, and that's all right. But he has kind of put us in this box, especially before the season started, saying that we were only going to win 4 games and so on and so forth. But nonetheless, we managed to double that. Right now, we're 9-7 and potentially can finish the season at 10-7. And then we'll be 1 game behind the Cowboys. And that just means that how good were they really? They underachieved, or did we overachieve? Nonetheless, Colin Cowherd made a comment about our offensive line, saying that it's not necessarily good and we have to reload it. Now, he was right in one aspect. We do have to reload the offensive line. That's a fact. The offensive line is aging, and we do have to reload it. There are guys who have been nursing injuries throughout the season. But overall, I feel like this offensive line has tremendous depth. And these guys are not showing their age or acting their age at all. If Brandon Brooks is your barometer for where this Philadelphia Eagles offensive line is, then you're sorely mistaken. I understand Brandon Brooks is hurt and he's been great for us in the past, but so far this year, he really hasn't been that for us just because of his health. And that's not necessarily his fault. But when you think about guys like Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, or if Herbig went down, or so on and so forth, or if Landon Dickerson went down, regardless, this offensive line has exceeded our expectations, right? Earlier in the season, they did not place our offensive line in any respectable position. We had a bottom-tier roster, according to Pro Football Focus, and we still managed to do what we did. We made the playoffs. We remained competitive. We changed our philosophy, leaned on our running game, in order to help our young quarterback. And that's just the reality of all things. Like, regardless of how it goes down, regardless of how people feel, we're in the playoffs. We're able to compete in the big dance. And look, the way this season is going, anybody can get touched. Anybody can get caught slipping, and it's all about matchups at the end of the day. So I'm looking forward to Week 18 against the Dallas Cowboys, but more importantly, I'm looking forward to the playoffs and finding out who exactly we play and where we got to travel. Because regardless, that team got to buckle their chin strap, put in their mouth guard, and be prepared to get punched in the mouth. Because this Philadelphia Eagles team, this offensive line, this running game, the way the city is rocking, listen, we coming hard. And whoever's in the way, regardless, win or lose, we want the smoke, and it's straight like that. I'm your humble host, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports Philly, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got charges to the game. One love, stay humble, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay hungry, and fly goes fly.